Hi y'all, Shane here, or Long Lance. Coming to you with something a bit different actually. I was watching Chancellor Northwest's video, his channel update, which are those very entertaining videos and great conversations, and he mentioned he was doing a lot of wargaming, and he was drawing parallels to how skills and talents were being, cross-traded across from the two kind of brother disciplines of wargaming and model making. And I thought it kind of prompted me to break out my collection. So I'm going to talk quickly about the game I'm collecting. So this is the rule set called Black Powder. God, I need to learn to speak. It is produced by Warlord Games and written by Rick Priestley and Jervis Johnson. Anyone who's into wargaming will quickly recognise the name of Rick Priestley. He's one of the creating minds of Warhammer 40k. So he wrote this Napoleonic era war game. So it's set roughly from 1700 right up to 1900. So it encompasses many wars. Book's full colour. It's very nicely laid out. Designed for relatively large pitched engagements, but can be scaled down to match skirmishes and etc. So a good book. It's a few euros. It wasn't too expensive, about €30. It allows us to fight from 1900 or 1700 to 1900. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause and I'm going to break out my figures of what I've painted up and have a chat about them and explain a bit how the game works. So I'll see you in a few minutes. And we're back. Okay, I have to go freehand with this because I can't fit the bloody camera on the table and get everybody in shot. So here's my small Russian army from Napoleonic. So they'd be 1812, 1815. I have another unit on the go, and when this is done, this will be a full strength brigade of 4 infantry regiments, or 4 infantry battalions, an artillery battery. In this game, batteries are just represented by a single gun. My commander, commander-in-chief, CMC, he represents me on the board, and I also have these little nifty yokes, which I'll show you in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll pull out each unit individually. So this is what the army looks like as is. I have a small French army too that Mrs. Lance got me, Lady Long Lance, and so I'm going to have a quick chat about the French as well. They're not as complete as these lads. I'm still working on them. I think Lady Lance will understand and appreciate the amount of work that goes into these because they're so intricate. I can't even say the word and give up. They're so complex. It takes a while. These been on the go for a year now. So I'll so as it is, I have a unit of musketeers. So they're your standard line infantry. I have Pavlovsk grenadiers, which are the grenadiers of they're named after Peter the Great. You can actually tell the grenadiers by their tall mitre hats, as you can see. So they're the elite. I have my general, then my line artillery. So I'm going to start pulling these up one by one so we can have a look and I'll have a little chat about it. So we'll start off with the commander and I'll explain some little elements about the rules as well. So I'll see you back in a second and we'll continue. So we're back. So I'll start off the review of the army with my colonel. So all these figures are from, well, with the exception of the artillery piece, are from Warlord Games. They're 28mm, so they're 1:54th. And the gun is also 28mm, and that is from Perry Miniatures. So he's a metal figure. So he's on horseback, pointing off, telling his men to go charge those cannons and have some fun, because cannonballs won't hurt at all, So, and the real nice green of the Russian army, I think it was kind of one of the reasons why I got drawn to it, because it's a little bit different. We're so used to the blues and reds of the British and French. The green is a nice colour, and it's not because I'm Irish. I have no prevalence. So in this game, how it works is he represents you, and he's your brigade. You'll have the general of the army, and for every brigade you'll have a brigade commander. So when I start having multiple brigades, I'll have multiple of these guys. Obviously I'll use different models for individual sake. And how this game works is that this game is run by orders. So if I want to move, see this unit behind me, if I want to move them, I'll give an order through the commander to move that regiment. And how it works is you do an order roll, and how it works is so you roll 2 dice. So he has to say we have he's an order rating of 9, so every unit has a rating, and you're trying to get under the number. So he's a genius, the 9 being the highest, so he's like a Napoleon of the Russian army, if you get me. So he gets 8, he gets 1 less, so that means he gets 2 moves. So for each value you get under your number, you get an extra move. So say he's a rating of 9 and you get 6, that's 3 values less than the number of his rating, and you get 3 free moves because of that. But how it works in this game, you have to declare what you're going to do. But I'll get into that in later videos, that's kind of confusing. Right now I'm just going to talk about the model. So that's him. He's nice, he's metal, he weighs a ton. The horse is looks a bit kind of half-starved, but I'm really happy with it. And horses, any figure painters amongst us will know the horses take a long time. Okay, so we're going to pause and continue with the muster and refuse the brigade. So, say goodbye, Yori. Goodbye. Yeah, I can't do accents. Moving on now. These are one of the Moscow divisions. You can tell by their pink and black regimental banner. These are just your normal line infantrymen. So this is the command. So you can see the 2 flag bearers, the officer and the drummer. Again, very nice detail, a lot going on. The flags are included in the kits, they're just paper cut out, and then I just shape them. Now they're still works in progress, so some of the infantrymen are going to be missing their backpacks, and a lot of the bases aren't fully flocked yet, but they're still like game worthy. So that's them, and I'm going to move on to look at one of the infantry trays. So these are the infantrymen. So they are a nice little model. They are what you call repeats, that they're just the same poses, 4 poses, which actually encompass, they have 3 poses, there's these 3, and then they just repeat again and again. So, I don't know, oh no, I do, the backpacks on these lads. So here's the backpacks, you see their short swords and bayonets, and then on hanging off their right, or their right thighs is their musket, their cartridge boxes. That's where the term bite the bullet comes from, because they used to have their musket balls and their powder in a small paper flask, which is to put into their mouth and bite the top of the paper flask and put the bullet in their mouth as they loaded their muskets, and that's where the term bite the bullet comes from. So again, nothing really to say, you know, they're nice units, nothing too crazy. Painted basically, these aren't the best I can paint, but on painting rank and file I tend to just go for 1 coat, 1 highlight and a wash, and that's it, because it's just too many of them. And to be honest with you, like, they look just as good in my mind, because they're wargaming, they're not static models. So I'm going to move on now to the last, or the second last element of the army. I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch out my memory card, so I can continue and not rush. So I'll see you back in a couple of seconds, lads. Alright, so the last foot battalion I have is Pavlovsk Grenadiers. So these are they were the elite guard regiment of the Russian army at the time, raised from Moscow under orders of Tsar Peter. I think Peter the First, I think Peter the Great. You can tell by their hats for their elite status, these are known as meters, or meterts. When the Russian army was reorged in 1803, I believe, the rest of the army changed their uniforms, bar these guys. They remained in the caps to keep them their elite status. They also, I believe after, I think it was the Battle of, Bernando, I think? They lost so many men, but they held the rear guard and they kept the French off them, allowed the army to escape in one piece, fighting off like numerous assaults from multiple directions at once. So they were surrounded and still fought their way out. And the Russian Tsar at the time, I can't think of his name, he decreed that they would remain as they left, meaning that they will no longer take any more recruits. And so That was it. So anytime any men they lost would stay that way, and it was meant to be a mark of their honour, that of their bravery, that they didn't need replacements, they were just that good. So kind of a cult began to form around these guys, that they were kind of seen as in awe, even by foreign war correspondents, to actually follow these guys in the battle. One British guy was absolutely awestruck by their stoicness and their sheer grit and determination in their fire. Another interesting thing about their meters was anytime they had musket rounds punched through their hats, they never patched them. They used to leave the musket holes in their hats as a sign of honour, to show that we took fire like men. So they're a bit mad. So these are the command. Again, these are included in the box. These are all metal, so you can actually, the weight of them is quite intense compared to other guys. These are plastic. I prefer the plastics. If you drop them, they're not going to smash. But the metal does have a nice feel. So I'm going to move on to show you about the infantrymen. And there's two versions here, so I actually have them both mounted. So on the right, and I'll put my hand down so you can see the difference. On the right, you can see the way that the guys have the plumes on the top of their meters and the guys on the left don't. So there's a reason for that. The guys on the left are fusiliers from the regiment, and the guys on the right are grenadiers. So there was always, in each battalion, there was always a company of fusiliers, which were like light infantry. So I'm going to do a quick rotation. These were the first Napoleonics I ever did. So I took my time with these. Again, standard Russian style infantry packs. Cartridge boxes, short swords and bayonets. Actually, does anyone know where the word bayonet comes from? Here's a piece of useless trivia for you. The bayonet came from a French town called Bayonne. So bayonet. So that's where the term bayonet came from. Named after the town it was originated from. And these guys loved the bayonets. The Russians, their weapons were poor quality. Their powder was poor quality. So they relied. They believed massively in the cult of the bayonet, meaning that they saw the musket as solely as a means to an end against the close quarter fighting. So the French were pretty much the same, because the French fought in massive columns. So they also kind of preferred to fight close quarter as well, whereas the British preferred a blend of both, mass musket fire and then followed by bayonet charges. But these fellas in close quarters are lethal, and in the game they reflect that. They're very, very dangerous up close. But the thing is, you have to mask them with fire to get up close before they all die. So again, nice detail. All of their mustaches, as you can see. And I kind of paint these in kind of the traditional toy soldier sense, that there's nice detail, but nothing too like crazy highlights. And I could if I wanted to, but it's just too much of an undertaking. And the last element of my little army that I can use for any period are my casualties. So I'm really proud of these. These are custom made, like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little dab of blue tack, so I can. Should have done this before, but so what this is a custom little base made from balsa with a slot cut in, with a poor unfortunate word of coat that's meant to use early demise. And in the game, how it works is you don't remove models when they're killed. You put down a wound marker, which is this fella, and then most units can take up to about 3 wounds. So for each wound they take, the dice goes in, so you can keep count. So that's what these are. I'm really proud of them. They're very nice. So again, nothing too crazy. Didn't go too mad with detail on these either. Just some nice basic highlights and washes and a bit of mud effects. Get a bit hard to see. Another one then I have with a French casualty. So the tufts of grass add a lot, and the flowers. And also kind of keeps it a little bit of like, it adds a sense of realism to the game, you know. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just putting little wooden chits down for the wound markers, you actually have like a wounded or dead soldier. And kind of it's reality of it, you know. These were up close in personal battles. Cover was not seen as something for the line infantry. Cover was more for skirmishers, which a lot of guys look down on, you know. Because it was seen as dishonourably, like the fire behind cover from concealment, whereas these lads fought up, you know, like gentlemen, you know, up close, personal, and get slaughtered like bloody animals. So and the third, I have a fourth one, but it's the exact same as this one. But I have another one which I'm really proud of as well, which is a PG version with no dead person. It's just a shackle. I know. I need something to. It's a shackle. That's named the hats that they wore. So these are shackles as well. What these boys were wearing. The backpack and a brown bess musket, which is the standard weapon of the British Army. So no, it's something different. I just wanted to share this with you, you know, just to show that there's different ways to apply our modelling skills and whatnot. I have some red coats. I will show you them. They're actually Connacht Rangers. They're from my old. They're an old British regiment that was stationed in Renmore, Galway, where my battalion was from. These guys were disbanded when Ireland got its independence in 1922, but we still claim them, and we're still very proud of their traditions. So these are Connacht Rangers from the Peninsula War. This is a sergeant. You can tell firstly by his chevrons. Now, I went all out with this guy, including giving them a stubble. And bear in mind, I'll actually, do I have a 35 scale figure I can stand beside him? Do bear with me for a second, please. Just to give you an idea of the size difference between 35 and this scale. So this is a 35 scale. So like that is the difference. So that's the thing, that if you can paint well in 28mm, you'll paint unreal in 35, because it develops. It's a discipline in itself, and I really like painting them in this scale. I added a lot of little extras to them. As you can see, the patches on his trousers, I added them with tammy tape, because in the Peninsula War they were quite worn. Again, give him a bit of a stubble. I don't know how well you can see it. You can see it well there. So yeah, I've given him a backpack yet, but I was intending to put these into a diorama, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to mount them on bases, because they're too personal a unit for me not to be able to play. Here's a flag bearer without the banner. So these when I go all out and start painting, I start adding all the highlights and what have you. Now, I'm not blowing my own trumpet or anything. I'm just kind of showing my tabletop standard and when I go a bit insane and live in the shed for a week. That's not really what happens when I paint at this level. And a drummer. I actually really would have wished if these guys are from Perry Miniatures and not Warlord, if the drummer boy was actually a boy, as in he was a bit smaller than the rest of them. But this would have been, this would have addressed the fact that there was a lot of young children almost in these armies. So again, and then the first ever Napoleonic figure I painted came free with the rulebook, and this guy is from that, lads. The battery died on me. I switched it out there. So this is the first guy I ever did. He's a Black Watch from the Crimean War. You often hear about Florence Nightingale and the Church of Light Brigade. Same conflict. I actually went as far to add the tartan, which was tricky in its scale, I can tell you. I love this figure. I think he's one of the nicest figures I've ever done. I just love the character of him. So he guards my workbench, and it almost makes me want to collect Crimean British, but I think I could kind of get away using these guys if I wanted to. But I think my next big project, once I get the French and Russians done, is I want to start doing the American War of Independence, because I really like that era and time. I love the kind of the idea of small hamlets in the wilderness, and like German mercenaries over America, and like Rogers Rangers, and the not Red Indians, the Wood Indians, and the Mohicans, and what have you. Like, I really like that period in time. Like, it's not because I'm particularly trying to be American or anything like that, we have plenty of our own history. And just to tie it in, that's some other stuff I'm working on. Just bear with me for a second, folks. This is the other thing I work on. These are Conquest Games Normans, and like obviously anyone knows their history knows the Normans invaded Ireland in I can't remember, 1169. So again, really proud of the horse. Took my time, built up layers of highlights, make them look realistic. Added a bit of scripture to his a small cross and a bit of like maybe prayer scripture, if you will. I'm not particularly religious, but back then they would have been. So I might have added maybe some coats of arms or deeds. That's what those little lines are on his shield, just to give him a bit of detail. Painted up his helmet in yellow and red, same with his shield, kind of the early marks of heraldry. So that's really it. I just want to show you these, something different. I might actually start doing more regular supplements of wargame figures, and maybe start planning some battle reports based on real games and make them historically accurate, and see how that format goes. You know, I rope my mate Mark and Lady Lance into playing with me too. They don't know yet, but I'll volunteer them without knowing, as I always do. So that's perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Look after one another, watch out for those buses, and I'll talk to you all very soon.